All right, so in my last video, we installed Conda. We have it here as the base. Normally, the next thing I want to show you is Jupyter Lab, but what I actually want to show you is how could you use Conda specifically in VS Code, because that's where you're really going to want to use it. Also in Jupyter Lab, of course. And so, we just need some kind of random project to work on. And so I'm just going to go here and make a new file. So I'm going to go back here for a second. And it really doesn't matter what it is. So I'm just going to say mkdir hello. And I'm going to cd into hello. And I'm just going to open this up in VS Code. So I'm doing code period. If you don't have that installed, it will install it. And then it will let you open it up like this. Close out the old one so you just don't get mixed up. That can get kind of confusing if you don't do that. I'm going to go ahead here on the right-hand side. I'm going to make a new file called app.py. Okay, and so if I open up terminal, notice that Conda is loaded as we see the word base. If you don't see that, then there's something wrong with your installation. You have to fix it. The other reason you might not see it is if you install some kind of fancy thing that colors or makes this more convenient, it could overwrite that. So you could still have it there, but just consider those could be issues that you're having. So, every time you work on a project, you should create a separate environment for each one. Absolutely, you should do that. And don't work in base. I try not to install anything in base. If you do, there is a way to clear out base. I don't do it very often, so I'm not sure in this video, but you can do that. But try to keep base as clean as you can. But it's going to happen where you're going to install things in there by accident, which you don't mean to do. But the thing is that different environments can inherit from base, and so that's why you don't want to muddy your base. But what I want to do is I want to create a new environment, and I honestly do not have this memorized, so I often have to look it up. So just a moment here as I'm looking for the GitHub repo we just had open here just a moment ago, which is here, I believe. And so I'm going to have this off screen, and I'm going to look smart by pretending that I remember this, but it's conda create hyphen name. I wonder if you can just do hyphen name like that. That'd be nicer. And we're going to do hello, and I'm going to specify Python equals 3.10.0 hyphen y, and we'll hit enter. And so it's going to go ahead and create ourselves that environment. We need to activate it, so we type conda activate hello. Again, this is something I'm going to do again and again and again, so just get used to it. So the idea is we want to run something here, and we need some kind of library installed. And so we can install it a few ways. One way is using CondaForge. So CondaForge, we go here, are basically trusted libraries that are configured for use. We go over here, CondaForge, and so we can explore it. And no, I want the packages. Here we go. So these are all the possible packages that we can install. Now we can install things outside of the CondaForge, but I'm not really seeing the ones I want. There's too many packages, right? So if we wanted PyTorch, we type in PyTorch here, right? Whatever we want. If we wanted skkit, scikit. I'm not sure why I'm having such a hard time typing it in today, but the point is, or like pandas, if we want pandas, it's there. And so let's say we wanted to work with pandas, right? We could do a pip install, and sometimes you do that, but you really want to try to always do conda forge install. So I'm gonna go over to here, and maybe we'll continue on here with this. So we had conda, I'll just call this one setup. I'm so bad, I just keep renaming these on you folks. We'll say hello example. And so what did we do so far? Whoops. I want a hello.md here. What did we do? We said conda conda create hyphen n hello Python 3.10.0 hyphen y. That was our first command. And then our next one was conda activate. So the next thing we want to do is we want to install. So I think it's conda install c CondaForge. So what we're saying is like we want to install something, but specifically use CondaForge. And you can specify other things here. I just don't know anything besides CondaForge, so I often just type that in. And so we would do this. So we'll go ahead and give this a try. Right? And that is not what I wanted. So I'll just type it again because copying between remote desktop doesn't always work properly. So I'm just going to type it fully in here. And we'll type in pandas, right? So this is now going to install it here. Now we could also create a requirements.txt install, and that's totally fine as well. But sometimes you want to install libraries this way, so you absolutely know they're coming from Conda Forge. Okay, and so we'll give it a -y here. And so that's installing. So that's going good. And so now we have Conda Forge installed. Or sorry, Pandas installed. I'm not sure if it would show up under Conda info. We can take a look here. So I don't think it would show those libraries, but if we wanted to see what packages we had, right, we do, was it pip show, I believe, pip show? Or sorry, pip list. And so here we can see we have Conda, or sorry, Pandas is installed here. So what I want to do is I want to do Conda deactivate. Let's take a look here, and we'll do pip list. And notice this comes with a lot of stuff installed, but does it have Pandas installed? It does not, right? Because this is the base one that's installed here. I'm going to go back over to hello, and we'll do Conda, or sorry, pip list. And I think I said earlier that I believe that things inherit from base, but it doesn't appear that way. So I guess that's just a false statement. Each environment is completely isolated, and that's actually a lot better. So here we have Pandas, and so if we want to use it, let's make some Pandas code here. I don't want to figure it out. I'm not great at Pandas, so I'm going to go over to ChatGPT or whatever you want to go to, whatever free model you want to use. I'm just over here. I'm going to just give me a basic example of Pandas. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. I should be using mini because I get limited uses of GPT-01. And we'll give it a moment here. We've already installed it. So I'm going to grab this as an example. You do whatever you want as a basic example. Okay, and we have a basic data frame. We just want to make sure that it works. That's all that matters to us here. Okay, so we have this here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this. So if I do ls, we have the app.py. So do Python app.py. And notice that we can use the word Python as opposed to Python 3 because it should be routed to that location. One thing you might want to check when you're using Python is where it is. So say, where is Python? And so it's showing that it's loading from Miniconda. There have been cases where I've had to use Python 3, which is kind of annoying, but we can type that in as well. Say, where is Python 3? Sometimes both are installed. Sometimes only one's installed. But you can see that it looks like Python 3, there's probably a local one here. So the local installed version outside of Conda is that one, but clearly we want to use Python. I know it's confusing, but it's just how it is. But anyway, I think that worked, right? Did our file work? It did. Okay, so if you want to run this as well, I'll go copy it over here to our repo. Over here. app.py. And so we'll go back over to this and we'll just do a bit of documentation. So we had Conda install, we had Conda, we had pip show, or sorry, pip list. Then we had Conda deactivate. And then we had pip list. We have Conda activate hello. And then we do Python app.py. Okay, and so this is hello example. And so here we are creating our hello environment. We install Pandas in our hello environment. We observe which packages are installed. We observe which packages are installed in base. It's good to make notes, like even if like this is really simple, just going through the habit of doing this really helps commit it to long-term memory for yourself. And so that's why I always do this, is it's kind of like your opportunity to do it like 2-3 times over. We can use Python binary to execute the Python in the context of Conda. And we can type in where is Python. Check which what binary is being loaded. Okay. And we can do where is Python 3. One thing we might also want to check out is like, what if we did a requirements.txt here and we're not using the forge? It should still work. Okay. And so I need some kind of library here. We'll just say torch. And so I'm going to go here and do pip install -r requirements.txt. Okay, and so it's installing no problem here. Maybe I should have installed Torch because that takes a bit of time. Yeah, it's a little bit large, so I'm just going to stop that. And you'll notice like Torch is almost like a gigabyte. So you might want to clean up your environments from time to time. Maybe I should show something smaller. You know, like python.env. We'll end up using that quite a bit. So python.env. So do pip install -r requirements.txt. So it'll install from that file here. Okay, so that's really good. I'll go back over to here and I'll just make a new requirements here. This will be just Python. Just again, writing it again. Python.env. That's so we can load environment variables, and actually we'll use that quite a bit. So that one's a good example to have here. But we'll go back over to our README. What else did we do? We did Python, or sorry, pip install requirements.txt. Let's have a -r in front of it. If you forget it, don't worry. Like after a week of me not working with Python, I always forget that command. We'll do pip list again here because I want to see if it installed it. And so we have python.env here. Another thing that I should show you is working with not Jupyter Labs, but it's the environment specifically for VS Code. So we'll do that in the next video here. And so I'm just going to stop it. I'm going to keep this environment around because this one's actually useful for us. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly commit this code here so we have it for later. Not sure if that's really the right commit messages, but no one judge me on my commit messages. Okay, see you in the next one.